Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom. You are tuning into Chiefs Latest. This is your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs, usually in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. As you can tell, I am in a good mood. You know why? Because it is Friday, and we get one of the primetime slots this weekend. Chiefs Sunday Night Football against the Giants. A game, honestly, I think we should win. I'm going to preview it, but I'm also going to talk about Tyreek Hill. That's right. I've been reading the comments. Everyone's been bringing his name up lately, so we're going to revisit that topic. But before we dive into any of that, you guys know the drill, and it would just be a great gift for the weekend if you guys could just take a few seconds and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest, Monday through Friday. And after this week, it's week 4. That's right, it just keeps going and going. So you're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs sitting at 0-2 entering week 3, entering Sunday Night Football. It's the shock of the season. But one thing that isn't a surprise or shouldn't be a shock is this non-existent running game. We knew this was going to be a potential problem on the horizon in the offseason. The Chiefs went to Elijah Mitchell for a spark in the room and then waited until round 7 in the draft for their next potential backfield horse. Pacheco's set to hit unrestricted free agency after this season, and so far, if you look at his stats, only 47 yards on 15 carries. He's only had a single forced missed tackle through 2 games. He's not making a case right now to stay in Kansas City, no matter being a fan favorite or not. And Matt Nagy's been quoted lately after practices about riding the quote-unquote hot hand. This just screams that they don't see Pacheco as the bona fide main man anymore. Pacheco's fall off since his 2024 fibula fracture, it's alarming. He hasn't topped 55 yards in a game since returning in week 13 of last year. I get it. The run blocking, it's shaky. Nagy's play calling or reads, it isn't helping. But one forced missed tackle in 2 games, that's not the dynamic Pacheco we saw back in 2022. His elusiveness, his speed, it's really taken a hit due to that injury. And the Chiefs staff being puzzled by the run game just says it all. They don't know what's going on. The run game is so bad that Mahomes is in unknown territory right now. He's being the second quarterback since 1950 to double any other player on his team in rushing yards in each of the first 2 games of a season, joining only Cam Newton. The Chiefs' rushing attack as a whole, Hunt and Pacheco, combined for 28 carries, 94 yards, 0 touchdown. Mahomes has 123 rushing yards himself. And then, like I said, you bring in Elijah Mitchell to be your spark. Well, from 2022 to 2024, 130 carries. That's only 43 per year average. He missed all of 2024. What are we doing? How is this going to be our spark? Reed and Nagy need to plan with what they have, not what they wish they had. This isn't week 7. You don't have Rice back. Last week, you didn't have Worthy back yet. Beach should be scouting the trade market before this November deadline. It's going to happen before we know it. We need a proven back who could just hit the ground running. It's a must, especially if Pacheco keeps going on this downhill trend. This offense has become stale. This offense has become one-dimensional. So the run blocking schemes, they need an overhaul to support any back, hot hand or not. So Pacheco's lack of production and Nagy's hot hand comment, I just think this shows that the Chiefs don't trust him as their lead back anymore. And with this free agency looming and a broken run game, Beach is going to have to find a spark before the season takes an even bigger hit. Which leads me to another potential running back trade target. Let's just keep this running back trade talk rolling like we have been all week. The Cleveland Browns, they have a crowded backfield, and Jerome Ford's the odd man out in that one. It'd be a nice depth piece for the Chiefs to swoop in and grab. Ford's a low-cost rental who could jolt our dead-in-the-water run game. with Quinshawn Judkins eating up early run down carries. Then you have Dylan Sampson that's handling the passing downs. Ford's really not seeing the field much right now, so that's making him ripe for a trade. His $1.5 million cap hit fits our cap space situation right now of $2.8 million. Ford's not the, bruising back that we love for short yardage, but that's what you have Kareem Hunt for. This Ford is more of a shotgun back. If you look back in 2023, his shotgun efficiency of 5.8 yards per carry. Top 10 rankings and explosive runs and first down, that just screams upside, especially in shotgun formation. He's a quickness guy. He's not really a tackle breaker. And likely just takes a conditional 7th round pick to land Ford, giving Veach a pretty cheap option to boost this backfield with some depth, with some reliability, and with some versatility. Maybe not a big name, maybe not someone you can have for, years to come, but can you be picky right now? Again, Ford is top 10 in explosive rush percentage, 10.3%, first down percentage, 31%, and relative yards per carry. Reed should deploy Ford in those shotgun-heavy sets because Mahomes has said he likes to go under center, so they might try to do some more of that. But if you're in that shotgun, especially shotgun-heavy sets, you could use Ford, leverage his quickness and that gap/power schemes, just exploit the lighter boxes there. This is more of a low-risk, high-reward trade target to spark the Chiefs' lifeless run game. And again, it's not much of a needle mover as some of the previous trades that we talked about, but it's a cheap deal. He plays well in shotgun, and the Browns' crowded backfield make him a perfect trade piece for the Chiefs. All right, let's get to the bread and butter of the episode. I know this is what you guys have been waiting for, talking about the possibility of Tyreek Hill coming back to KC. I probably have talked about this twice now, this being my third time on the podcast. At first, I was very doubtful that was ever going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Then the second time, I'm like, I hear the rumblings, but I don't really see it. Now, I'm still not quite there, but it definitely makes a little more sense. Worthy's shoulder is going to look like it's going to be just a nagging issue all season. Rice is either hurt or caught up in off-field drama. I know you get him in week 7, but what's going to happen after that? Kelsey's past his prime, and Brown hasn't stayed healthy for an entire season and half a decade. I know he's doing fine right now, but there's still a whole season to go. The Chiefs' receiver room is screaming for experience and reliable help. Miami's 0-3 start after their loss to the Bills on Thursday Night Football. They have that locker room chaos. They've already had team-only meetings. McDaniels is on the hot seat. This kind of mirrors the Achane trade logic that we talked about yesterday. If they're heading for a rebuild like it looks like they might be, Hill's a prime trade chip, especially with his production dipping more due to their offense abilities, not his abilities. Hill's $10.4 million cap hit, that's going to be the hurdle that the Chiefs have to figure out. And we only have $2.84 million to work with. So if we want it to work, Veach is going to have to work some magic. He's going to have to restructure, or he's going to have to get Miami to eat some of that cap cost. I don't need to go much into depth about Tyreek Hill. We already know what he brings. Speed, quick twitch separation, yards after catch ability. It's tailor-made for this offense, for this scheme that Reed likes to run. Let's look at this closer. Hill's missed just one game since 2021, and his proven chemistry with Mahomes could quickly turn this offense around. The lowest I think you could maybe go is a 4th-round pick. You'd have to add some stuff maybe onto that as well, but it might go as high as a 2nd-round pick. I'm thinking anywhere from a 2nd round to a 4th rounder for Tyreek Hill. His return would give Mahomes just a lethal weapon that we're lacking, even if it means fewer targets for Kelsey, which actually might help him stay fresh. If you forget about him for a while, he's going to show up in the most important moments. But going back to 2023 for Tyreek, because it's not too far removed. And if you look at that season, he had 1,799 receiving yards. He led the NFL. Reed would feature Hill in those deep routes, those jet sweeps. We got to exploit his speed. You got to stretch the defenses. You got to open up the underneath routes for people like Kelsey, for people like Rashee Rice when he returns. Let's negotiate some cap relief with Miami and or restructure while offering no less than a 2026 fourth round pick. Of course, you're going to have some added compensation if you go probably a fourth rounder, but hey, you got to do what you got to do at this point of the season. Hill's presence would reduce Worthy snaps as well, protect his shoulder a little bit, shift Rice to a complementary role, balance the offense a little bit. Yes, it's no secret that bringing Tyreek Hill would be the spark likely to save the Chiefs' passing game. Proven fit with Reed, proven fit with Mahomes, Miami's collapsing, it makes them attainable. But you have to navigate the cap not only now, but remember, how is this going to impact of keeping younger stars in the future if you spend all this money now on Tyreek Hill? You gotta think a little bit of the future as well. I know we're a little scared and we want to win now, but I'd rather keep a dynasty going than, lose it because of one move. All right, let's preview Sunday night's game because the Chiefs have a golden opportunity against a Giants defense that got absolutely torched in week 2. They coughed up 4 touchdowns. This is the matchup to finally get this 0-2 offense off the launching pad. New York's cornerback, Deonte Banks, he's a weak link that I think the Chiefs should try to exploit and exploit quickly. 39.1 PFF grade in week 2. That was the second worst on the Giants. And he had 2 penalties plus a boneheaded play where he just let CeeDee Lamb snag a catch, come down with it. I think this just shows that he's green and that he's rattled. The Giants' defense is dead last against the run, giving up 177.5 yards per game, which could let Pacheco and Hunt finally break out. I know I was just hating on him per se in the first topic, but hey, against the NFC, Pacheco, 90-plus scrimmage yards in 2 of the last 3. Hunt, against NFC teams, 80-plus scrimmage yards in 4 of the last 5 games. Mahomes, 8-1 record in his last 9 Sunday night starts. Hopefully he can feast after seeing what Dak Prescott did. He shredded them for 361 passing yards. But they do have some weapons. We got to watch out for linebacker Brian Burns and Thibodeau. They're both sack machines in prime time. And they have wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who's torching defenses. 238 yards already. It's going to be a fun matchup for McDuffie there. With Mahomes' history of carving up the Giants, like his 245-yard game back in 2021, I believe, Kansas City enters with the edge in this one and the chance to turn the season around. The Giants' defense versus the Cowboys allowed 361 passing yards. Then their run defense has been abysmal, as I said, allowing 177.5 rushing yards a game. That's 31st in the league. That's 5.92 yards a carry. Neighbors, 238 receiving yards so far, 9 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns in week 2. He's been impressive. Brian Burns, as I talked about earlier, had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection in week 2. He's coming in with 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 9 primetime games. And then Thibodeau, he aims for his 5th straight game with at least half a sack and a tackle for loss. I see the Chiefs winning this one personally, especially with the Giants' shaky defense both in the pass and run game. This is going to give the Chiefs a chance to ignite their offense. Hopefully. Mahomes' Sunday night dominance, McDuffie's matchup with Neighbors, it should tilt this game Kansas City's way. But Burns, Thibodeau, Russell Wilson goes off once again. It could be a long Sunday night. But again, I think the Chiefs get their first win of the season. That is all that I have for you on this Friday. Let me know in the comments, how nervous are you for Sunday's game? Do you think the Chiefs get the win? Do you think we're facing an 0-3 start? What are your thoughts? What are you most worried about? Let me know. Do you think Tyreek Hill is going to become a Chief by the end of the season? I still don't think it's going to happen, but the more I see him frustrated on the sidelines, the Dolphins keep losing. It's just becoming more and more likely. I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. Once again, you are listening to Cheifs Latest. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Hopefully everyone has a fun and safe weekend. Go Chiefs, and until next time, have a good one.